Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional. I don't know if I want... What are your thoughts on that opening? Let me know, because I feel like it might be too wordy, or that I don't really use anything about the trained unprofessional, so it's kind of weird to just mention it, even though I like it and consider it my catchphrase or nickname or whatever the fuck. I don't fucking know. Just let me know what you think about it. Also, before we get started with today's episode of Echo, I want to give a quick shout out to the young boys across the street. Trust me, this isn't going in a creepy direction. For, among other things, these rocks. There's this one with a little arrow on it. This one that says, love. They didn't make them for me. These are the byproducts of them having, I don't know what the fuck the reason was, but it was a couple days ago. They were having one of those end of the driveway sell random shit you have around the house for like a couple of quarters here and there things. And it reminded me of some of the best moments of my childhood when I wanted to do stuff like that. And I did a couple of those things, and yeah, those were some of the few moments of my childhood that was actually pleasant. So I went over there and I spent a few dollars over there. I got a picture drawn by the youngest one that's on our refrigerator. It's a very simple, just sketch drawing, but you know, hey, you get off of that table there, you rapscallion. It was obviously very nice of them, and they made it themselves. I know that when I made stuff, if those sold, those were my favorite things to sell. And got a couple toys, got those rocks. So yeah, shout out to them. They made these rocks. That's they and their mom put the little designs on them. So I think that's really cool. Got a hair in my mouth. But yeah. So yeah, let's get on with today's episode of Echo. On the last one, we were on TJ's route. Was it on? Yeah, August 20th. With that music in the background, I'm sure everything's going swimmingly. Let's see what goes on today. I'd gotten bored of skipping rocks pretty quickly. Leo was so good at it. He could skip them over the water 5 times before they sunk. Even Jenna could do at least 3. This sounds vaguely familiar. Did I open up an old save file? Mine would splat once and sink like the stones they were. Hey! You're talking about rocks, and I just realized that this actually could be a good skipping rock. It's quite flat. But I ain't doing that. That thing bought that for Bri. After Leo laughed at my last one, I glared and decided to go into the lake where no one else could go. Ooh, all good feeling just left my body. Hey, not in the way of the rocks, you're gonna get hit. Leo telling me to be careful only made me more angry, and I cut through the water far below the surface so they couldn't see me. I'll go back in the direction where we came from, wondering if Sydney and Toby are in the shallows, that I might be able to surprise them. Oh no, is this... When I come around the curve in the beach, I see that they are in fact in the shallows. But I can tell immediately that something isn't right. Toby's flat on his stomach in the shallows. Sydney is sitting on his back. Toby has just enough room so that his head barely sticks out of the water. As I poke my head up, I can hear the cat sobbing. Sydney isn't saying much at all. He's got a strange look on his face. It's a look that I've seen before, like the time he'd covered Toby's mouth and nose when he'd had him pinned down and we'd had to pull them apart. That same look when he'd thrown a dirt clod with a rock in it at the lynx's head. A look that was determined, almost empty, but completely fascinated with what he was doing. Almost like he liked it. Something about this situation scared me, though. The other times we'd been here to help separate them or stop Sydney from going too far, but now it looked like he was trying to kill the cat. Every now and then a wave would slosh over Toby's mouth and nose, and he'd yell and struggle frantically, begging Sydney to get off, but Sydney just sat there, enamored with his own cruelty. He was going to kill Toby, just like he killed his dad. My vision blurs as I go under and speed towards them. I leap out of the water to knock Sydney off the links as hard as I can. Sydney falls back into the water before quickly pushing himself back up. I see the look of horror on his face, not at what I'm about to do to him, but because he got caught doing something bad. Not just bad, but weird and scary and something that no one should ever do, not even if you're a kid. I don't think you could ever explain why he liked doing it. That look imprints itself on my mind. TJ runs off. Now he's TJ. I don't know where to. I try to get Sydney to tell me what he was doing for a while. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I get angry. I throw a punch. It misses and hits him in the throat instead. He lets out a hard cough, reaching up with both paws to clutch at his neck. He manages to stumble to his feet without using his paws, his Luce Lobo swim trunks wetly clinging to his legs. I don't give him a chance to stand for long. I tackle him again and grab his head, shoving it under water. Oh, God. He scrambles frantically. I feel a dark satisfaction in my chest at the way I can hear his screams through the bubbling of his exhaling breath. I finally let him go after a good 10 seconds, and he comes up gagging and choking. He starts to scramble away on his paws and knees before getting up. I see snot hanging from his nose and chin as he stumbles, snorting out water, and I can tell he's about to cry. I don't remember Sydney's voice. There's no way I could remember Sydney's voice. Fuck, how am I even supposed to find an episode that has Sydney in it? There isn't a single fucking episode that gives any indication that Sydney makes an appearance, even though I know they appear. And I'd rather not just start randomly clicking on shit trying to find which one happens to open.
Hello, everyone. My name is...
Which one happens to open with that scene at the truck. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to give him a fucking... You tried to kill me! I'm telling Leo, you tried to murder me! So that was it. For some reason, the way he immediately tried to put that on me was then that I believed he was trying to kill TJ. Maybe not even on purpose. Maybe just waiting for it to accidentally happen. I don't know. But now he was going to make everyone think I'm a murderer. He at least attempted. Even though we all know he did it. He stumbles away and I go after him, grabbing him. He's trying to kill me! His voice is weak and so is his body. Especially in the water. Poke my head up through the waves in front of the others. Otter, move! We're gonna hit your head! I shrug my shoulders, dipping under the water again so that I can hug myself and tremble alone. Again, time passes in a way that I'm not familiar with. 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours pass when my phone starts to ring. There's something ominous about it. Ominous. Something I can't explain, but I feel it deep in my bones, like the arthritis in my fucking ankles. Like the aches in my joints. Oh, okay. I open my eyes and see my phone just a foot in front of my face, vibrating over and over. I see the blank contact image on the screen with the name Julian under it. Lovely. Oh, hey, he's a fly. Hello, fly friend. Hope to God Spoofy doesn't see you, otherwise he's gonna dive bomb the fucking wall. That fly has been in our fucking their basement for a while. And every time Spoof see it, he goes fucking nuts trying to get at it. For a moment I wonder why I have his number, why I have his name attached to it. Then I remember it's because we'd exchanged numbers during the scavenger hunt, so that I could call him to meet up. Slowly I reach out and press the green button to answer. I raise it to my ear, waiting, but only getting silence on the other end. Hello? Hey, Chase. I think that's his voice. I'm tired of fucking searching around for all my stupid voices. Oh, he sees himself in the mirror. Oh, God. Please don't attack the mirror just because you think there's another dog in it. Julian's voice sounds hesitant. Like he's not really sure about what he's doing. Like he doesn't know me. Yeah? Hey, Something happened that I thought you, or at least someone, should know about. I slowly sit up, the blanket falling away from my shoulders. What's up? Well, TJ spent the night over at my place after what you did. Julian's voice takes on a hard edge, and for a moment I'm not sure what he's talking about. Then I remember the forest and what happened there. For some reason, the thought doesn't create that horrible. For some reason, the thought doesn't create that horrible empty guilt I felt yesterday. In fact, I feel nothing. Anyway, we got him a bus ticket back to CCU, or we were hanging out until the departure time, which was an hour ago now. Yeah? Oh, that lizard guy showed up. Flynn, he showed up at my house. I don't know how he knew where I lived, but I think Janice told him. Mart skips a beat. Anyway, he wanted to talk to TJ, and eventually TJ told me that I could just wait inside, so I did, and after a while, when I looked, they were gone. Gone? Yeah, and so is his truck. I'm pretty sure TJ went with him, but I don't know. They were both acting really strange, so I don't really feel good about it. TJ won't respond to my texts either. I see. So, since your number is the only one I have from your friend group, I thought I should tell you so you can let the others know too. Alright, I'll do that. Alright. There's a pause, but I'm already getting up looking for my keys. I'll probably check things out myself before my shift today. You know where Flynn lives? I can tell that the Buck doesn't really trust me with this information, and why would he? I don't care, though. Yeah, he's on Shepherd Street. Janice will be able to point out where it is for you, but I'm heading over now. Let me know if you find anything out. I will. Later. Bye. I feel my heart rate picking up speed as I finally find my keys under my backpack on the table. I snatch them up and jog out of the motel, the heat of the afternoon sun coming over me in a wave. I realize then how late it is. I'd been in the motel for nearly a full day, but to me it felt like only a few hours, if that. I should be on the highway right now, if not already back in Pueblo. But I realize that none of that matters now. As I sit down in the oven-like heat of my car, I see it staring at me from the back seat. I'm not afraid of it, at least not right now. It means that I'm on the right track, I think. I'm doing what I was meant to do. Do you know what he's talking about, Spoof? Do you have any fucking clue what's going on right now? No? You never do. You have no fucking clue what's happening. You're just going through life according to what happens to you. It's admirable and too scary to emulate. I know where Flynn and TJ are. He probably thinks that's the best place to get the truth out of TJ. His truck sits there in a small parking lot alone, gleaming in the setting sun. I pull up right next to it to look inside. Empty. I park and shut off the engine, jumping out and jogging towards the faint trail through the sagebrush. I know exactly where to go. It's the lake. Instead of turning right like we did yesterday to get to the boulder, I take a left. I haven't been on this part of the beach in over a decade, not since it happened. I know this is the right direction, though, and soon enough I see the bend on the beach that turns into the shallows that we'd played in so many times. I also see an odd set of tracks leading in that direction. Flynn's footprints, not hard to recognize with their long clawed toes, but there's another pattern next to them. They aren't footprints, but drag marks, like Flynn had been dragging something next to him. I pick up the pace and start to run, breath catching in my throat, that feeling of not being able to turn back looming over me like a dark fog. The water and sand around me is starting to tinge a soft red with the setting sun. For a moment I wonder what would happen if I stop. What if I turned back instead of turning this corner? I know that my life would turn out very, very differently if I do. That thing in the mirror, the town, it told me so, but I feel like I'm on a set of train tracks cutting through the desert with no alternative path to speak of. And I've been on this track ever since I decided that I need to protect TJ. As I turn the corner, I see them immediately. TJ is sitting on the beach, his knees drawn up to his chest as he stares downward. Flynn is standing over TJ, his paws on his hips, looking down at the cat. Looks like he'd been thrown there by the lizard, and I finally feel rage replace the anticipation and fear. It's finally gonna happen. And now I want it to. Hey! I can't be yelling. I don't know who all's here in the house. It could be no one, it could be everyone. Right now, it seems pretty quiet, but well, as long as I'm living here, you're not getting any bombast out of me. Flynn immediately whirls around, eyes wide as he spots me sprinting towards him. He takes a step back as I get closer, but I skid to a stop 10 feet away, glaring at him as my paws clench into fists. What in the hell are you doing? I scream at him, wanting to let him know just how pissed I am. Feels good, finally not being afraid or worried about what's going to happen. Because now I know there's no other option. They keep saying this, and I keep expecting a fucking choice to pop up. Because there has to be a good and bad ending. Good and bad. So there's going to be a choice at some point. Unless we've already gone on that path, or if there's only one, I don't fucking know. Flynn looks taken aback for a moment, looking me up and down before he straightens up. He hasn't forgotten about what happened between us yesterday, and I can tell that he's afraid of me. Get the fuck out of here, Chase. This isn't about you. Wow, that voice did not work at all. You fucking bet it is. I look at TJ, who would really benefit from having multiple sprites at this point, but goddammit, the game is still in development, give it a break. And he's gone back to staring at the ground, expression vacant. What are you doing to him? I'm not doing anything to him except asking him some questions. About? You know exactly what about. He's trying to confirm your secret. Ooh, spooky voices. Get away from him. I say each word with deliberation, taking a few steps closer to the lizard. Flynn steps back again, but only with one foot. He doesn't back away any further. You stay the fuck away from me, Chase. And what the hell have you been doing this whole week? Flynn seems to grow a little more confident with that. What do you mean? I stop and cross my arms, waiting. What I asked yesterday. And after what happened to Carl, I think I'm owed a fucking explanation. I feel the anger rise up even more in my chest. You want an explanation after the shit you've been pulling? Flynn once again looks taken aback by my anger. The hell you talking about? My palm moves to my pocket. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The fucked up scavenger hunt that you sent us on that you started with Carl. Flynn gapes at me. What? I feel some of my resolution dissolve as the lizard's face looks completely bewildered. He's lying. Anger swells up once again. Quit fucking lying to me. I know what you did, and I know what you think happened. Okay. Flynn steps forward. Chase, get the fuck out of here. This isn't about you. TJ's telling me what's happened. I look down at TJ again, at that vacant stare. What did he tell you? Leave! This isn't about you! Flynn walks up to me, giving me a hard shove in the chest. I stumble back. Really? I feel my paw reaching into my pocket as if of its own accord. I grasp the note, and even though my nerves fail me as I'm pulling it out, it seems to happen on its own. Then what the hell is this? I unfold the note, ripping the old paper in the process. But it's intact enough when I present it in front of the lizard's face. Flynn's brow furrows in confusion for a moment before he takes it roughly from my paws. He stares at it, eyes scanning the page as if looking at it from all angles. Finally, his eyes flick up to look at me. "The fuck is this?" He whispers hoarsely, "Oh. The fuck is this?" I look straight back at him, waiting for the expression of familiarity, the guilt, the knowledge of what the piece of paper is his own doing. But instead of what the mirror promised, I get shock and confusion instead. Just like that, I feel my determination break down. It was as if something Can you believe this shit? It was as if something had been driving me to this moment, and that cloud covering my brain breaks for a moment. For a moment, things are clear, and I'm left in a daze. What is this? His voice turns up into a scream, and it's such a horrible sound that I stumbled back. He holds the paper up, showing me, and I stare as if I'd never seen it before. Unlike the other notes, this one is a crude drawing. On the far left of the page, a small stick figure with lynx ears is kneeling on a bench, surrounded by clams and starfish. He's covering his face, tears falling into the sand below. Extending out from the beach, poorly drawn waves spread out across the top of the page to represent the lake. Far below the waves, two figures are connected near the bottom of the page. One has X's for eyes, his legs and arms splayed out, tiny little bubbles coming up from his mouth. Below that figure, another sits below him, grinning mischievously, holding the drowning stick figure down by his tail. As if the picture wasn't descriptive enough, words and arrows label the characters. Toby, sitting on the beach, Sydney, dead in the water, and Chase holding him down. I'd looked at the drawing so many times before, but now to have Flynn be the one to show it to me... But he had to have been the one to draw this. Who else could have done it? And here he was, standing there in a state of shock, just like me. But I could see his expression very quickly morphing into fury. All my plans to confront him, to figure out how he just found out, are thrown out the window. Because he just found out. I'm completely unprepared, and conveniently, the presence that spurred me on has left as well. And it's only now that I realize how stupid this all was. It's like I've been tricked. Chase. Lynn's walking toward me, and his expression is like nothing I've ever seen before. Chase. I can see in his eyes what he's about to do. I back away, stumbling, and that's when he rushes, tackling me to the ground and crushing me into the hard, sharp rocks underneath. Oh, shit. Unlike yesterday, all of my strength and confidence has abandoned me. It's like whatever has been driving me has left me right at this moment, taking several steps back to watch. Like it wanted this to happen all along. Flynn's fists find my face, first one at the right side, and another on the left. Each one brings a flash of light to my vision, and at that moment all sense leaves me. It's kind of nice in a way, like I don't have to be present for the horror that I brought on myself. A few more punches come my way, the impacts like earthquakes in my head, but I don't feel any pain. Instead, they leave me feeling stunned, like I've been electrocuted. I feel blood pouring from my nose, like a faucet, though, and soon it fills my mouth with that familiar, metallic taste. You fucking piece of shit, you think you can just play with me like this? His strong, big paws find my neck and start to squeeze. Through a blurred vision, I can see him above me, eyes filled with tears, glaring down at me with a rage that I didn't think was possible. I'll fucking kill you for this, you little shit. I hear the rustling leaves again, my reflection, Sydney, the town, whatever it is, laughing at me. Vaguely, I wonder if Flynn has been spurred on by it too. We're puppets. Nothing seems real right now. What's happening to me? To Flynn? What's happening between us? It seems impossible. But the breath that's stuck in my throat is very real. And I start to see stars and blackness begin to cloud my vision after the things I've done. I guess I deserve it. I guess this is the appropriate way to go out. Flynn. Soft voice coming from the distance. It was me. I did it. Hands come away from my throat, and I take in one massive breath like I'm coming up from the water after being under for far too long. Spit and blood go down my throat and into my lungs, and I roll over, letting out a great cough, spraying the rock in front of my face with dark drops of blood. What? I watch blood drip onto the black, flat rock in a steady rhythm from my nose, having to breath extra hard through my mouth because of it. I said I did it. It was an accident. I pushed him out into the water, and he drowned. And Spoofy's licking my toe right now, and it's extremely distracting.
But I love you too, Spoofy. Where are you? There you are. Oh, it's a Spoofy. It looks like I'm reaching to my dick, but I'm not. Spoof's under the table, and he's such a good boy.
Grab the rock, stumbling to my feet, feeling that old anger. Ah! Get away from me! Get away! Fuck. He did that thing dogs do when they shake their heads. Right next to... Okay, that was my knee. Okay, so that was fine, but I got scared. He did that, and his ears whipped my nuts. Get out from under... Fucking... Come over here. Come over here, you fucking asshole. Give me a moment. Whew. I grabbed the rock, stumbling to my feet, feeling that old anger return. He's going to kill Toby. Stop him. Spoof, you fucked with me enough already. Leave me alone. I stumble unsteadily to my feet and turn to see the lizard with his back to me approaching TJ. He will never leave Toby alone, just like Sydney. I stumble after them, hand tightening around the rock, the back of Flynn's head in my sights. What did you say? But you can stop it for good. Break the circle. I'm a few steps away from Flynn when I swing, bringing it down on his head as hard as I can. The sound is awful. Immediately, Flynn bends over, screaming in pain as his paws come up to clutch the back of his head. I swing again, this time glancing off the top of his head, most of my power robbed by the poor angle. Flynn turns to me, then, still crouched low, and tries to tackle me. I stay on my feet for the most part, but I'm pushed back several feet as I grab onto his back for support. And that's when I feel the cold water on my feet. That's when I grab the lizard under his armpits and start to pull us both out further. Flynn doesn't seem to realize what's happening until the water's up to our knees. He stands up straight and I see the blood running down his face from his head. He's glaring at me, expression wild, gaze clouded. God damn it, I hate living in a fucking place full of bugs. Just like mine. And he takes a swing at me. Lands on my jaw. Pow! Though my head is snapped to the side, another flash fills my vision. I'm able to grab that paw and swing him out further into the lake. Lizard stumbles into the shallows, standing up waist deep, and that's when I throw myself at him with everything I've got. I tackle him into the water, and we're both submerged. I feel a change in Flynn's demeanor. The change as he realizes that he's gone from fighting for the truth to a fight for his life. Claws come out and scratch at my arms, but I ignore it. The cold of the water numbing, I should say, any pain that I might have felt. I kick us further out into the lake, my powerful tail and body coming into play, doing what I was built to do. I know I knocked the breath out of Flynn when I barreled into him, so he doesn't have much time before he needs another breath. I'm not going to give it to him. I thrust us both through the water, downward against the rocks and sand below us. He grasps at me, kicking with his feet, and I catch a glimpse of his face then. It's not angry anymore, or clouded. Instead, he stares at me with shock and utter disbelief. Or otter disbelief, because he's getting killed by an otter! I'm killing him, and he realizes it. He also realizes the truth then. I see it in his eyes. What he's wanted to know for the past 13 years, he realizes it in the last minutes of his life. He kicks at me with his feet, his movements becoming even more desperate. His paws move to my neck, trying to choke me again. But it's useless. I already have my breath. I watch bubbles spurt from his muzzle, then all at once, in a gush. His paws go from strangling to pleading. He grabs me over the shoulder, shaking, tugging, looking into my eyes. But I'm relentless. That feeling of not being able to turn back too strong. His muzzle opens, trying to breathe, but only taking in water. His thrashing turns up a notch, scratching my legs with his claws as he kicks even harder. This second burst of desperation only lasts a few seconds, though. His movement's growing more and more tired, weaker and weaker. He's not looking at me anymore, eyes staring past me, toward the glimmering surface above. A place I'll never let him see again. His movements become more sporadic, like he's having convulsions. My instincts tell me to let him go, to end this insanity, but my paws don't let me. I close my eyes and press harder. After a few more minutes, I don't feel any more movements. Slowly, I let him go, careful not to look at his face. His body stays still for the most part, moving back and forth gently with the current. I kick to the surface, my limbs numb as I break through the cold air above. I pull myself along through the rocks, gasping and feeling incredibly weak for some reason. My stomach lurches, and for a moment I feel as if I'm going to throw up. I stay there on my hands and knees, staring into the water at my reflection. My face looks blank. For a moment I see the horrible gashed mouth. I know I'm crying, even if the lake water is covering it up. What happened? But as I look up, and I see TJ there, everything comes together. He's on his knees, staring past me, mouth hanging open. Suddenly I remember exactly why it is this all happened. And my chest fills with warmth and love for the cat as I stumble towards him on my knees. TJ doesn't seem to notice me as I wrap my arms around him, pressing his face into my chest. Oh, fuck, that's a thumbnail moment if ever I've seen one. Holy shit. That picture by itself is gorgeous, but the implications, the shit surrounding that is horrifying. I gotcha. We're okay. He's not gonna hurt you anymore. I breathe heavily into Lynx's ear as I whisper to him, wanting to let him know that everything's going to be okay. Finally, I feel him shake his head against my body. Chase. Why? Because he knew. He was never going to leave us alone. He tried to kill us. I kiss the top of the cat's head gently, wanting him to know how much I care. Is he? He's gone. TJ sobs against me, but I only hug him tighter. Why did you do that? He reaches out to my left and I look, seeing the paper and the lake. I'm not sure which he's talking about, me showing Flynn the paper or killing him. I don't know, so I don't answer. Instead, I hug him even tighter, whispering in his ear. It'll be just like last time. We won't tell anyone. Our secret. Something turns ominous in the air. That horrible tension I'd felt dissipate when we opened the letter returns. This town needs secrets. We'll tell them he tried to kill us. We had to protect ourselves. TJ leans tiredly against me, his arms limp. We're gonna be okay, just like last time. We can forget. TJ doesn't respond. So look out of the lake and get a shock as I see Flynn floating there, close to the shore, his face down, back just barely touching the surface. For a moment I wonder if it's not too late, if there's still enough life in him to be revived. But that same feeling holds me back, and I cling to TJ instead. We're gonna be okay. We were manipulated. We keep moving in circles. That voice comes to the surface for a moment, for the first time sounding stunned. I return to focusing on the Lynx, the whole reason why I did any of this in the first place. Whatever happens, I'm going to protect him from all the shitty people in the world that want to hurt him. By the time we get to our feet, it's dark, and I have to help the Lynx along through the sagebrush. He's quiet, robotic, like it was the first time this happened. I help him into my car, and I get into the driver's seat, quietly pulling out of the parking lot and leaving Flynn's empty truck behind. Watch it disappear in my rearview mirror, sitting alone under the yellow parking lot light. As we drive along on the road, the Lynx stares out of the window. I can still feel the tension in my arms and legs, making it difficult to keep the wheel steady. My heavy, wet clothes stick to the seat. Finally, we get to the freeway, and I look back again. Echo just a series of tiny lights, insignificant on the desert landscape. It seems absurd that the place where all that horror happened. Where all that horror still is. Chase? I snap out of my daydream, looking over at the Lynx, his eyes glowing gently in the fading light. After we're done with wherever we're going. The police station? Yeah. Can you give me a ride back to CCU? I missed my bus. TJ smiles sheepishly. I blink, wondering what to say. Does he not realize? Then I realize what he's doing. What's happening? Just like last time. Clear my throat. Oh, yeah, definitely. I'll give you a ride for sure. Thanks, Chase. TJ smiles at me and then goes back to looking out the window. I wonder if he'll forget what happened. Like what happened with Sydney. Hope that I can. We drive off into the dark desert toward the soft glow of Peyton in the distance. Four years later. No, don't tell me we're going back. Who's Devin? Seriously, this is gonna be such a good fucking time. You'll be glad you came. What? The big grizzly bear nudges the coyote playfully, almost knocking the canine into the passenger window. Ow! Keep your paws on the wheel, or your paw at least. Cameron eyes the giant half-eaten burger in the bear's equally giant paw, and Dev's other paw casually steers the wheel, elbow resting out through the open window. The bear looks happier than he's been in a while, somehow grinning as he chews. Coyote sighs and stares at his own window, watching the desert landscape fly by. There's nothing like this in his hometown, and he found himself wishing he was back amongst the pine forests. Something he'd be wishing since he moved to Pueblo for school. Technically, this was his natural habitat, but he found the whole place depressing somehow. Empty and dry and rough. What you pouting for? I'm not pouting. Yeah, you are. Cameron sighs, deciding to change the subject. So why couldn't Larry go again? I don't know. Said something about his car breaking down. Think he just flaked, though. Aren't there other haunted places in Pueblo that we could have gone to, like by the school? The bear shakes his head, letting go of the wheel to crumple up the foil that had packaged his sandwich, tossing it into the back. Not like Echo, dude. This place is the most haunted town in the entire fucking world. Cameron sighs once again, and suddenly grasps at his seat as the car swerves and turns hard onto a smaller road, heading towards Big Blue Lake. What the fuck? Oops, sorry, almost missed the turn. Gotta hit Lake Emma before the actual town. The road quickly ends in a small parking lot, empty and cracked. Why? Because a lot of shit happened here. The grizzly hops out of the car, making the entire thing tilt sideways as he squeezes his bulk out before reaching back for the camera bag. Coyote allows himself one last frustrated sigh before he gets out as well. The bear waits for him, reaching out a large, padded paw. Cameron takes it and is immediately drawn into a tight embrace and a kiss. Coyote tenses up for a moment and waits until Devin releases him. Can you not do that right after you eat a big, greasy hamburger? Cameron makes a show of wiping his lips. Devin rolls his eyes. No pleasing you, is there? Nevertheless, the grizzly holds out his paw again, and Cameron takes it, the two of them walking towards the faint trail. Not a pleasant walk. The trail almost obscured by sagebrush and dry vegetation. Once they reach the edge of the lake, Devin has to help the coyote down the rough, rocky terrain. The coyote feels like a child as Devin lifts him down off the boulders onto the brush, the bear's free tree trunk. Okay, biceps bulging as he does. Okay. They stand there for a moment, taking in the scenery, then Devin leans over to set the camera bag down. Cameron stands there, looking around at the very unphotogenic lake. So, what exactly happened here that you're so interested in? Devin takes off his backwards baseball cap for a moment to smooth his head fur down. He puts it back on and bends over again to take out a camera. Some people say the lake is haunted, too. Some guy got killed here in 2015, according to a few articles I read. Wonderful. That was self-defense, though. Oh, so they got away with it. Was that during the whole hysteria thing, or whatever? Devin pans the camera across the length of the lake before stopping on Cameron. Cody frowns at being filmed. Oh, that was 2017. What? Wait a minute. What? The bear pans the camera the other way now, and Cameron feels himself getting sweaty under his shirt already. Some coyote he was. It's so hot here. Once we set ourselves up in a motel, we'll have some shade. It's still open. Nothing's open. Everything's abandoned now. We're gonna get arrested for trespassing. The bear finally turns off the camera, leaning over to shove it in his bag. The cops never come down here. It's too out of the way. Anything for the views, right? Hey, my subscribers are gonna love this shit. Now come on, let's get back to the car. Are you fucking taking the piss? Alright. Okay. The bear turns and starts scrambling up the rocky boulders, Cameron waiting as he does. That's when the coyote turns around to glance back at the lake one last time, and... A lizard lays in the shallows, splayed out, staring at the sky. But he's not staring because his eyes are gone. What? He's not staring because his eyes are gone? Half of his muzzle missing? Fuck! Cameron jumps back, tripping over the rocks and landing against the sharp edges. Ow. Coyote hisses in pain. The bear spurs him on, trying to scramble up the rocks after Devin. The bear's already turned around, though, reaching around down to pull Cameron up. Shit, you alright? What happened? As Cameron clings to the large bear, he looks back, but nothing's there. I don't know, I saw... Devin looks in the same direction, squinting. Cameron stares a while longer, then turns back and shakes his head against Dev's chest. When Cameron looks back up at the bear, he's grinning, though. Holy shit, did you see a ghost? The coyote scowls. What? No, I thought I saw something. It was the reflections in the water or something. The bear gives him a knowing smile. What? You're gonna be a believer by the end of all this, I know it. The grizzly hugs him tightly as Cameron frowns, still looking back at the shallows. It had been so real. But before he can even really collect himself, Devin is pulling him along back to the car. Wait a minute. Is that it? What? Wait a minute. So... Okay, so I fucked up. I thought that the 2015... I thought 2015 was... that, but no, this game started in 2017. So the 2015 one was self-defense, but what was that one? We don't even know what that one was, because if the 2017 one was Flynn, and that one caused the hysteria, unless this game has been in development for 4 fucking years, what does that ending mean? So did they get away with it? But we don't know, because I guess what we have to figure out here is whether or not we don't know what the fuck the 2015 one was. We had never heard about another one other than we've known of 2 murders now in this lake, according to the TJ timeline, which was Sydney 10 years ago, and then Flynn in either 2015 or 2017. But if I recall from the other ones, is there a help? Oh no, that probably opens up a fucking browser. No, I'm not gonna open up a fucking browser. Fuck you. Now, we don't know what year that Cameron and Devin thing took place, because then we could just take that year and subtract 4, and then we know what the fuck was going on. But I feel like this game takes place in 2017, though. Alright, so I'm probably going to cut out a lot of what I just did. I just checked through the Itch.io page, the Patreon page. Nothing on those pages says what year this takes place in, but I remember at some point they mention what year it is, and I remember at that point thinking that it was a while ago. Now, I first started playing this game, I think, a couple years ago. I think I started playing it in 2017. And if in 2017 I thought that the date was old, then maybe it was 2015. God damn it, I gotta fucking know. I have to know. I need to know, man. I feel bad calling someone out of the blue. This is totally not cool. I'm so sorry to randomly call you out of fucking nowhere. Are you busy right now? Do you know for sure what year Echo takes place in? You don't? Okay. I feel like I'm going crazy. Because I want to know this one detail. I feel like I'm being very annoying right now, and I do not like what I'm doing. There is at least something that we don't know about, no matter what the answer is. So either, because we know neither of these are the Sydney one, because the Sydney one took place 10 years before, so it either took place in 2007 or in 2005. Either the Flynn murder took place in 2015, which was labeled self-defense. That means TJ and Chase definitely got away with it again. And then things moved on from there. We don't know where they are now. That was not the direction it was chosen to go in with the epilogue. But the alternative is that 2017 is when this happened. The Sydney death took place in 2007, and therefore we don't know if Chase and TJ got away with it. We don't know who the fuck died there in 2015, and we know that there was a hysteria going on, which we know was a thing with this route. So there's reason with the events of this game. So we know there's reason to believe that both could be plausible, and both leave open the possibility that there is some shit that also happened either 2 years after or 2 years before this game. So we don't know what the hell. Now the thing is you'd think if this game took place in 2017 that they would mention what the fuck happened in 2015 at some point. Someone would fucking say something. So there's that reason to believe that this game took place in 2015. However, there's not a lot of media coverage about this place other than in the ghost circles and of the creepy YouTubers that are just out to get you clicks. So it's possible that even someone who lives in Echo, like Leo or Flynn or Julian, I think he lives in Echo. Maybe he lives in Peyton but drives down. I think that's what it is. But maybe they wouldn't even know, or maybe it wouldn't be pertinent to the conversation because they're all trying to avoid talking about the Sydney thing, and mentioning whatever happened in 2015, where this game to take place in 2017, might trigger that conversation or bring the subject up. So it's possible that there was a reason not to mention it. So there's reason to negate that argument. So I don't fucking know. You let me know. I will find out somehow, and then we'll know what's happening. So basically, my thoughts: if it is 2015, then we know that Chase and TJ got away with it, and they're off living their life, their double life of, in TJ's case, what seems to be psychological denial, not so much denial, but suppressing it, locking it away in his subconscious to explode later sometime. And Chase, depending on whether or not they're playing up the idea that he was possessed, or whether or not he already has some sort of psychological problem with him, probably both, he's probably going to blow up at some point later on as well. We don't know if they're together, we don't know what the fuck, we don't know diddly dick, but in 2015, if that's when this happens, we know for sure that they got away with it, and they're moving on. Because I think TJ's moving to buttfuck somewhere. In 2017, we don't know anything except that 2 years prior to this game, some shit happened, but they got away with it, and that there was a hysteria, and now only 4 years after that, in 2019, 4 years after that would be 2021, 4 years after 2015 would actually be 2019, which is this year, so it makes sense that that would be happening. Oh my god, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, but I'm moving on. I can't keep yammering about this for another fucking hour, so thank y'all for watching. I need water. I need to calm down. I'm gonna jump to a different game. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Bye. Oh no, we got fucking end slate to do as well. Jesus. Yeah. Let's do that then. All right. Transition. On the left, you got the patrons. You got people from Patreon. Thank you to them. On the right, you've got a video, which is the most recent one uploaded to this channel, and the other one, which is recommended by YouTube just for you. Links in the middle to subscribe, and Patreon, social media down below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.